Hey, and welcome back. Today we're going to do a quick run through of the latest version 1.0.27, which has gone live in early May 2025. This version has quite a lot of new features, and we're going to try and run through them as quickly as possible. From the beginning, we've added a matrix view on the effect queue layout. We've also added queue triggers so that you can actually trigger a live edit when a queue is active, or switch it off when it's deactive. You can also now trigger live edits when darken silence is activated. You can set a fixed BPM per queue. We've added a new effect called HyperX, and we've also added feedback to some MIDI devices. The APC Mini Mk1, the Mk2, as well as the APC40 Mk2 are currently supported, and of course we will look to add more in the future. And the major update is with the new DJ mode. So let's get underway. And first of all, we can start off by looking at the matrix view. So this is super simple. You've got all your cues as usual, but now you can switch to matrix view, and that will enable you to see those cues all in one screen. So super fast, super simple, and easy to get to. So this view is going to give you a lot more access. It's a lot simpler. We can flick one on now, and the lights will come on, and you can see the queue has changed to show that it's running. Of course, we can stop it. There's a slight delay on the camera, but don't worry about that. So that's the matrix view. So instead of the long list with all the details, you can now see that in the matrix view. The next feature we've added is a new effect called HyperX. This is a hybrid effect. It is kind of a combination of multiple different effects that go through in different loops. We can actually fire that up, and you'll get to see how it is working through different patterns, and then eventually it starts building up, and then you'll get different effects coming out over the patternation of the HyperX queue. Super fun, and available also in version 1.0.27. Okay, now we've got a couple of things here about cues and triggers, so let's go back to them. So now, if you edit a cue, you can decide to set it to a fixed BPM, or you can leave it in auto mode and it will just live off of whatever's in the system. Of course, if you set it fixed, that's what it will play at, unless, of course, you decide to override it. So if you're going to enable OS12 or something else, well, that's going to override basically everything. So obviously this is more for when you want to run a fixed effect with a fixed BPM based on a specific song, perhaps. You can now fix the BPM. Of course, HyperX is available with the cues. Then that leads us on to the triggers. So you've now got a couple of different triggers available. The first one being the trigger when dark on silence is active. So you can now activate that trigger when dark on silence becomes active. Of course, you set up dark on silence based on your audio input, and when it gets to silent, that will trigger that cue. You can see that by the moon symbol. And additionally, we've added this trigger tab to give you a different view on all of the different triggers that are mapped, but it also enables you to map a cue to trigger a live edit. So you can pick a cue such as disco and say, I want you to trigger the live edit fan pan tilt fan, and that's it. It's literally done. Now, if I go over here and I run the disco, you'll see that immediately the live edit has come active, and it's fully automatic. It's active because of the cue trigger, and then when I stop the cue, the live edit's going to stop as well. So that's the crux of many of the new features. Of course, there are many other things that have been updated. We've improved the rotation type channel. We've also adjusted the strobe and fog settings. They're no longer available in the settings. They are only available from the quick settings here. So that's all simplified down into one single place. We've also added many different fixes and lots of little updates and improvements throughout the app. But let's move on to the main feature, which is our brand new and, well, our most exciting feature for sure, the new DJ mode. So this is a subscriber-only function. It is taken us months of serious effort, and as such, it needs to be a feature that is given some extra respect. So DJ mode is accessible really simply from the main menu. And as you can see, immediately we dropped in here, and it's showing us that we haven't got any plugins enabled. So you've got a few different options available. The first one, which we're going to start with, is the built-in music player. And that's really the key functionality that we have tried to build in, which really lets you run this completely standalone. So if we enable the music player and give it a couple of seconds just to start up all the services, there it goes. We'll see that things have changed, and now we can go back to the player screen, and you can see that we've got our own very simple 2-deck mixer, but it's fully built in. So we don't need anything else to run. Now, where this gets interesting is you don't actually need to define anything here. You literally just play your music. So you've obviously got a browser. You can browse through your files for whatever you've got available. This is just some examples here, and then basically you can create playlists. So obviously I've got a few different playlists here. I can create a new playlist. I can say this is a demo playlist, and then I can decide to put some different songs in here. So I can just control click or select some, drag them and drop them in. I might want to mix that up with something else. Whatever you like, we can put it in here, and create our own playlist, whatever you fancy. And that's now my active playlist. So I can also, if I want, I can just play a song by right clicking and selecting load, or I can double click and that will load to the first deck, or I can right click and choose load to the second deck. Now I've obviously got my mixer enabled, and I can start playing that track. You'll see that it's been identified, the music starts playing, and off it goes. Well, not only is it doing that, as you can see from the video, it's also started a light show, which has been fully built and customized to that song. The moment you load the song to the deck, it's analyzed, everything is scanned, and then based on your lighting config and your setup, it builds a fully dynamic, fully autonomous lighting show based on your song. Of course, I can start mixing and play another song on the other deck, and as soon as I skip over to the other deck, the light show will change to that deck. So you can do this as much as you like. Of course, if I stop it, the lights will go out. And on top of that, you can also run it fully autonomously by clicking the auto mix. As soon as I hit auto mix, it's going to load up both decks. It's going to start playing deck to deck, and it's literally going to just auto mix between the tracks and show the light shows fully automated between the two decks as it goes along. Completely automated. I literally did nothing. I loaded the song and I pressed play, and that's all. That's literally how this works. It's that simple. So we can stop that now. We of course can eject tracks. There's a ton of features in here. We can also see all the tracks that we've previously played and analyzed. We can see how much of our disk space it's using for storing the shows, just so you can keep an eye on it. Of course, you can always clean them up. And then we can also modify some of the show details. So if you prefer your shows a little bit more energetic or a little bit less, you can always adjust this. You can also override the color theme. Now, this will not limit it entirely, but it will set the color theme as the dominant colors of that theme. If I now clear that out, it's going to be fully automatic. And the decision around the color theme is going to depend on a number of factors. The tempo, the style of the music, but also any metadata or information we can get about it to understand its genre, so on and so on. But of course, it also could decide to show different colors. It's an engine that makes its own decisions. So ultimately, you should get a different show pretty much every time. Of course, if you change these settings, it will regenerate the show. So even if you're playing a track and it's currently loaded and playing, and you've got a color theme going on, so we can see now that I've got a completely different color theme because I removed the override. I can actually come in here and I can change that color theme, and after a few seconds, it will rebuild that show and start playing with the new color theme. And that will happen even during playback, and it's completely seamless with zero interruption. And it just fully automated. There we go. We flicked over to purples and greens, and then I can clear that. And again, it's going to rebuild the show. And after a few seconds, it's going to update the colors again seamlessly with zero downtime. And you can change that literally on the fly. Super simple, very easy to use. Now, of course, this is with our built-in show player. We do get some additional options. We can, of course, enable dark on silence. We can also choose to show track data, which will add this permanent menu, or we can turn that off. And you can also link the master dimmer to the volume, which means that if I link that, depending on the volumes of the decks, it's going to start adjusting the actual brightness of the lights. Can be interesting if you want to use volume as a way of automatically brightening up the show. You can change a crossfader curve. You can choose whether it's a smooth, cut, full, or scratch. These are pretty standard. You can also set the time, the crossfade time, and you can also adjust the audio filters. In most cases, the standard ones are pretty much fine, but if you've got poor quality audio that needs cleaning up, then you can choose a high quality detailed filter, which will clean up most stuff, but it does usually take several seconds longer for the tracks to load. Not usually a problem if you're playing on two decks, because you obviously have time for the second deck to load before you're finished playing on the first, and before you might fade over, etc. So in practice, not really a problem, but obviously it takes a little bit more time and a little bit more of your CPU to clean up that audio. But as I say, in most cases, the standard quick boost or standard filter are usually perfectly fine. I'm using a -6 dB here just because I wanted to try and normalize as much the sound and keep it as clean as possible, and that works perfectly. So that is the built-in show player with fully autonomous lighting shows. Literally just press play. It's that simple. Okay, so now let's take a look at one of the DJ integrations. So let's take a quick look at VirtualDJ. So you can see I've disabled the music player, the player's disappeared, and I've enabled the VirtualDJ link. So now that's active, I can go over to the live tab and see that I've got two deck config, but nothing loaded. So let's bring VirtualDJ over, and you can see I've got a few songs over here on my VirtualDJ, and we can see that it's active. So now I can drag and drop a song onto a deck like so, and immediately that's loading up, and you can see that the load show icon has popped up. Yep, it's popped up on the second deck, which means that the show has been generated. Now, I've got this in autonomous mode. If you turn off autonomous mode, the light show will not start by itself. You would have to stop the light show per track as you want to do it. Of course, the autonomous mode is definitely the best way to go. So that's active, and you can see that I can visualize some of my configuration for the decks. It's showing you which one it's seeing as master, and whoever's master is the light show that gets played. Now that is a complex calculation based on whether the deck's playing or not, which deck has got the higher volume, where the crossfader position, etc., etc. And that's how it decides the master. So if I start playing that show, we can see it's come up straight away, and we're tracking, and it's playing. We can also jump over and see that the lights have started responding. So immediately, all I've done is play a track in VirtualDJ, and the show has started. So if I want to then do some mixing, or however it is in VirtualDJ, I can start the other track. And if I was then to move that crossfader over, the song will change, and the playing show on the deck will change as well. It still shows it's running because the song's playing. If I stop the song, the deck's going to stop, and you can see that the light show is coming from the other show. And there you go, there's the other light show. So literally, I've done nothing but play music in VirtualDJ. That's it. It's fully automated. Every part of the light show is designed and built for you based on your fixtures. You literally just play music. It's that simple. and you get some very cool effects. So yeah, that's the DJ app. I mean, you're going to have to explore. There's a lot of different things in here. There is an info screen that gives you a lot of information about how to set this up, but we've made it as simple as we can, and we hope you're going to find it super fun, super useful, and make it a piece of your standard kit. As we really are proud of this, and we do think that this is an amazing integration that's going to give you total flexibility to focus on playing your music and not having to worry about whether you're going to get a great light show coming out the lights, as it's just going to be made for you. Yeah, so that's the DJ player, and we hope you enjoy it.